Over the course of the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of excitement, hope, and misguided disappointment with the new Masked Hero card. In today's video, I aim to change how heroes are played moving forward, even if all I'm able to do is provide a direction. In this first replay, I won't be using Fiendsmith engine to show that you don't even need it, though keep in mind for the rest of the video, I will be. Now, we're going to start here with A Hero Lives, as we're going to be able to get ourselves the Stratos on board, and the Stratos will then be able to get ourselves the search for Vision Hero Vion. And Vision Hero Vion becomes a lot better with the new cards, as you'll see momentarily, but we're going to normal summon it, use its effect, which will be able to send the Necrom, and the Necrom is pretty important here because typically in a hero deck you would be going for a more linear type of play with the cross guy, or I forget the name of it, the Link 2 that gets you into your Destiny Hero Malicious, and then you contribute it away, search another hero. Yeah, we're not doing any of that because the problem is that it locks you into heroes, so we're going to continue here by using the Necrom. As stated, instead of doing the whole Link plays, we're actually going to take a path that the deck has done before, but maybe not to this capacity, and this is just the rank 4 stuff. So we're going to continue here by using the effect of the Prison, which will send away the Shadow Mist, and as you see, we now have access to 4 level 4s as we add ourselves the Duskcrow off of the Shadow Mist, and the Duskcrow is the first of 3 new cards. It reads, if this card is in your hand, you can banish 1 hero monster from your graveyard, special summon this card. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 masked hero monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except Duskcrow. You can only use each effect of Duskcrow once per turn. Now, we're going to continue here by using the effect of Vion in order to get ourselves the polymerization, and now we'll be able to go into our Merrymaker, which this is what I was talking about with the rank 4 options that you have, especially since you're just able to get so many level 4 bodies. We're going to now go into our champion, and this will be the first way without the Fiendsmith engine that you really play around Nibiru, as you're now going to go into the IP Masquerena since we don't have the Fiendsmith stuff, which if you did, then of course you can make your Fiendsmith plays here, as we're now going to summon the Regulus out, and this will give us protection for the rest of what we do. Now, the most important part here is that in order to play around Nibiru with heroes, you have to have your Duskcrow along with the Poly in hand, and you'll see what I mean by that just now, and we'll special summon out the Duskcrow, as we're going to get ourselves the copy of the Furnace, and this is the second new card. As it reads, you can reveal this card in your hand, add 1 mass change or polymerization from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. You cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect except hero monsters, so we don't want to do that. And if you special summon a non-fire hero fusion monsters, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the monster was summoned, or hand even if not, but banish it when it leaves the field. So we're going to continue here by using the polymerization, as we're then going to go into our Sunrise. And the really cool thing about this is that both the Furnace and the Sunrise are level 7s, as we're now going to be able to add ourselves the Miracle Fusion, chain blocking the Furnace, as we'll then also be able to go into our Draco Sack to get the detach and keep the Furnace in the graveyard for the Miracle Fusion. So this also gives us a couple extra bodies to work with, which if we had a level 3 that you wanted to use, you could go into Cherubini. I don't know what options, or I really didn't find anything that I really liked that wasn't just adding another brick and stuff, so I didn't think it was worth it. Instead, I'm going to go into the Doom Eagle, which gives us some graveyard interruption, and then from here we can activate the Miracle Fusion in order to get the copy of our Chaos on board, effectively giving us a negation through the Regulus, another negation on the field through the Chaos. We then have the Doom Eagle for the graveyard interaction, and then we have the IP into SP, and keep in mind that if you're playing the Fiendsmith package, you would have something like Caesar. You could also have Sequentia into the Desiree and stuff like that. You'd also have the Lacrima in the graveyard. So just things to consider, as I'll take you on to the next combo now. Now, I want to come back to A Hero Lives because, again, I didn't get to show the Fiendsmith stuff, but there's also another rank 4 that you can make, which is a really cool option. Grab our Stratos, as we'll use its effect in order to get ourselves the Vion, and from here we'll be able to use the effect of Vion in order to send ourselves the Necrom again. So we'll use the effect of Necrom, and keep in mind, since this time we will be using the Fiendsmith stuff, if your Necrom were to get negated there, then you could just go into the Moon. So we'll now use the effect of Doom Prison, as we'll get the Shadow Mist in the graveyard, and from here we're going to be able to use the effect of Shadow Mist, which will grab us the Duskcrow. From here we're then going to use the effect of the Vion so that we can get our Poly in the graveyard, give us the insurance around Nib, and from here we'll then be able to go into our Alimbertion. The Alimbertion is then going to be able to detach 3 and grab us the copy of Evil Hero hero a dusted gold. Now, something really cool about this is that with the gold, you can add yourself Dark Calling and get yourself an extra extender. So we're now going to be able to go into the Darkest Night, as we're then just going to go and link into our clothes so that we can get into the Fiendsmith package. In order to play around hand traps, you can do this whole Fiendsmith stuff before you even activate your Duskcrow and get access into the Draco Sack, IP Masquerena, Chaos, and stuff like that. But we're now going to be able to use the effect of Lacrima, get ourselves, or the Requiem, I'm sorry, in order to get ourselves into Necroquip. We'll then use the effect of the Engraver, and if your opponent doesn't hand trap up to this point, now you definitively have that Nibiru insurance with the Caesar, as we're now going to do the same thing as we did before, which is special summon out the Duskcrow, banishing a hero, use its effect in order to add ourselves the Furnace. From here we can add the Polymerization. We'll then go into the Sunrise, use the effect of the Furnace as Chainlink 1, the Sunrise as Chainlink 2, get ourselves the Miracle Fusion, as well as special summon out the Furnace so that we can go into our Draco Sack. Draco Sack will then detach 2 tokens on board so that we can go into our IP Masquerena and keep the Draco Sack on board as a body for it, as we'll then be able to activate the Miracle Fusion here, getting us that negation via the Contrast Hero Chaos. Now, for this next combo, I want to show that you don't need a Hero Lives in order to really make this thing work. So we're going to start here with Vision Hero Vion, as we're going to send away the Necrom, and from here we can use the effect of Necrom bringing out the Doom. Use the effect of Doom sending the Shadow Mist, and the Shadow Mist will then be able to add ourselves the Duskcrow to hand. Now we're going to continue here by going and using our Vion, which will get us the Polymerization, as we're then going to be able to link away into the Closed Moon, and from here you're really just trying to bait any hand trap so that you can do the Duskcrow play without any potential interruption, as we bring out the Lacrima, then use its effect in order to get the Engraver in the graveyard, as we'll then be able to bring out the Necroquip off equipping the Requiem, use the effect of the Fiendsmith in order to get ourselves access into the Caesar. From here we can then use the Duskcrow, banish any hero, use the effect of the Duskcrow getting the Furnace, and much like you've seen before, we're going to activate the Poly. We'll then be able to go into our Sunrise, Chainlink 1 Furnace, Chainlink 2 Sunrise, get ourselves the Miracle Fusion and the Special Summon, and just a really cool thing that you can go into a rank 7 here, because I think that it changes what this deck can do in the future. The more cards drop, you're going to be able to search any level 4 with Alan Burschen, you're going to be able to send any level 3 with a potential Cherubini, so just little things like that to really consider, as we're now going to activate the Miracle Fusion as we continue to make our board here, and with the Chaos, Caesar, Masquerena alongside the body, and the Lacrima in graveyard if you do need that extra body. Now I want to come back to another A Hero Lives combo, and I believe this is going to be how to play around hand traps if you're not using the Fiendsmith stuff, and again, I'm going to show it with the Fiendsmith stuff to show that, yeah, you can play it, but we're going to continue here by using the effect of the Stratos in order to get ourselves the Vion, use the effect of Vion in order to send away the Necrom, use the effect of the Necrom, which will bring out the Doom, use the effect of Doom in order to send the Shadow Mist, and then from here you can use the effect of Shadow Mist in order to get yourself the Dusk, use the effect of the Vion so that we can get ourselves the Poly and give us our insurance through Nib, and from here we're now going to go into our Merrymaker, go into the Gigantic, and then use the effect of Gigantic in order to get Regulus, and now we can link away into our Closed Moon. So as previously stated, access to our Fiendsmith engine, instead of just ending on an IP Masquerena, you can bring out the Regulus, then go into the Requiem, use the effect of Requiem, as from here we'll then use the Lacrima, protected under the Regulus, which is just really nice, as we'll then be able to use the effect of the Requiem, and then we'll be able to go into our Necroquip, bring back the Fiendsmith, as we'll then be able to go into our Caesar, activate the Duskcrow from hand, as we'll then be able to special summon it, use its effect in order to get ourselves the Furnace, and we'll be able to activate the Polymerization so that we can go into our Sunrise, and from here we can use the effect of the Furnace Chainlink 1, Sunrise Chainlink 2, get ourselves the Miracle Fusion, and access to the Draco Sack. Here we'll then go into the Draco Sack, detach again, and if you're going second, you could side in something like Big Eye, I guess I should point out, but we're now going to go into our IP Masquerena, activate the Miracle Fusion, and again, end on a Regulus, a Contrast, which is 2 Omni Negates, one being on the field only, but then you have the 2 negations via the Caesar, you have the IP into SP or whatever else you want to make, but just a lot of points of interaction with more modernized lines of play, as well as end boards that don't rely on just your hero stuff. Now again, I want to show a similar line of play but using Vion, because the entire point of this video is to show that there's different ways to do it with just one card, and anything that you have beyond that is going to add on to it, or make at least a similar enough board. So we're going to continue here by using the Vion's effect as we normal summon it, sending away the Necrom, and You want to make this kind of like a rank 4 and link deck and not just focus on one or the other, as we're now going to use the effect of the Shadow Mist Sent Off the Doom and get ourselves the copy of Vicious. Vicious is still played in the deck because there will be times where you may not have that extra body and the Vicious just comes in clutch for that. So we're going to be able to use the Vion here, get ourselves the copy of Polly, and from here we'll then be able to special summon out the Vicious, as we're then going to go into the Merrymaker, use the Champion in order to get ourselves the copy of Regulus, as we'll then be able to link away into the Closed. And now you see we don't have a way to get into Sunrise at this point. That's kind of the point of this combo. It's just Vion, but it is going to be weaker than a Hero Lives, of course, but it just shows what you can still do, which is Caesar plus Regulus, which isn't bad for one card, as it is 3 interruptions, one of them being an Omni Negate. As we're going to go into the Necroquip here, you also have the ability to go into the Desiree if you want to do that, and if you have more monsters, of course, you can use the Polymerization and continue to play from there. Now, for the final combo, I wanted to show what happens if you have Vion alongside the Duskcrow, because as stated, with Vion, you may not be able to make the full board. One extender is all it takes, and that one extender is the best card that we probably got from the new ones, which is Duskcrow, as we're going to use the effect of the Necrom in order to get ourselves the Doom. And from here, we'll use the effect of Doom, sending the Shadow Mist, as we'll then be able to use the effect of the Shadow Mist. And then we can add the gold, as we'll then be able to activate the gold, I believe. No, we'll activate the Vion in order to get ourselves the Poly, and then activate the gold. We'll add ourselves the Vicious, and then we can special summon out the Vicious, similarly to like we did before, except that this time we have access to the Dusk. We're going to continue here by using the 2 level 4s to go into the Mary and then the Champion. Use the effect of Champion so that we can get ourselves the Regulus. And again, Vicious in this scenario is just here to get rid of your Champion and itself for your Fiendsmith combo. For IP Masquerena, if we don't have access to the Fiendsmith combo, then you have the ability to go into the Regulus before going on with the rest of your plays. So we're going to activate the Regulus in hand, special summon it out, go into our Requiem, use the effect of Requiem, special summon out the Lacrima. From here we can use the effect of Lacrima, send the Engraver, as we'll then use the effect of the Requiem. We can then go into the Necroquip, special summon the Fiendsmith from the graveyard so that we can get access into the Caesar, and from here we'll then special summon out the Duskcrow, as we're under maximum protection now, as we'll then be able to get ourselves the copy of the Furnace, use the Poly in order to fuse away into the Sunrise so that we can use its effect in order to get the Miracle Fusion along with the Chainlink 1 Furnace for that extra body and level 7, as we'll then be able to go into the Draco Sack here. Again, much like you've seen before, we're just going to be ending on that IP Masquerena alongside the Draco Sack, so we can go into SP without having to use any of our interruptions for it. But then we also have the Miracle Fusion in order to get our Contrast Chaos, so that we have that extra piece of interaction with our opponent. The Lacrima in the graveyard. Lacrima will be an extra body that you have access to once you bring back the Requiem, its effect, and then tribute off the Requiem for the Lacrima. With all of the combos out of the way, we can get onto the deck profile, and there were a lot of things that I had to consider within building this deck, where you see I'm not playing things like the Full Assault alongside the Full Hero Infernal Wing, Neos Lord. There were just some things that unfortunately we don't have the support in order to really make them work. But that said, I do feel like we have enough main deck hero monsters in order to make something more modern work. And I know that some hero players are live and die with their pure hero decks, and this is not that. The fact that you can still play a majority of hero monsters in the main deck, play something a little bit more up to date, is what I think a lot of hero players wanted. So with all of that out of the way, I left everything that I wanted to show in the combo, so I'm just going to get onto the card by card. We have the 3 copies of Vision Hero Vion, the 3 copies of Duskcrow, 3 copies of Gold, the 3 copies of A Hero Lives, the 1 copy of Regulus, Cross Out, Called By. We then have the 1 Talent, the 1 copy of Stratos, the 1 copy of the Shadow Mist, the 1 copy of Doom. We then have the 1 copy of Vicious, the 1 copy of Furnace, 1 copy of Poly, the 1 copy of Miracle Fusion, the 1 copy of Dark Calling, 1 copy of the K9 Lupus, and again, the K9 stuff is also here as a different way to play around Nibiru and certain hand traps. Let's say that that your opponent just blind charmies you, you do give them a draw or two, but entire point is that you can go into your Ripper and then have that way to play around Nibiru if it's on your own turn, or if it's on your opponent's turn, then you can at least potentially force another hand trap. Then you'll see we have the one copy of Lacrima, the one Fiendsmith, copy of Necrom, 3 Izuna, which is the hand trap for the K9 deck. Again, if you're playing TCG also and don't want to use these cards, I'm only using them because by the time that we get Duskcrow and stuff, this stuff will likely be out. If you don't want to, you can add other going second cards, 6 copies of the Charmies, then the 3 copies of Crow, which again, it can be another hand trap or board breaker if you would like it to be. I just wanted something that I could draw off of these and would have an impact in it that I saw it. But then onto the extra deck, we have the Doom Eagle, we then have the one copy of the Closed, we then have the one copy of SP, IP, Sequence, we then have the copy of Requiem, Chaos, we then have Darkest Night, Sunrise, the copy of Necroquip, Champion, Dracosac, Caesar, we then have the one Ripper, and the one Merrymaker to round out the deck profile. Something else I would like to say is that you'll see that we also have a lot of one-ofs, similar to the regular hero deck, and I would like to point out that it's not just Neo's favorite contact. A lot of these can either be extenders or just flat out get you into your plays, whether it be something like Evil Hero Doom Prison sending a Shadow Mist, summoning a Lacrima in order to get into your Requiem. You also have the ability to normal summon Stratos, just have this as an extender. And some of these 3-ofs are just going second cards, or not going second cards, but protection from hand traps. If you do want to go over 40 in order to see of these cards less, by all means, just wanted to bring you guys a 40 card deck so that it was very doable. I would also like to talk about the Alan Bershin and the Dempsey. The more targets that we get for this stuff, the better it's going to be. So they're cards that I believe should always be on the radar whenever you're at new cards that we get for this stuff. The Cherubini also potentially sending the Denier. If you choose to play a 60 card version of this, is probably a cool idea in order to get your Mali plays going and whatnot. You can also play the Fusion Destiny. There's also the Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep is an interesting card that you can make and go into your Sunrise after for that Dracosac play and then get an extra revival. But the problem is the extra deck space, as you can see here, is extremely tight. Finally, I would also like to talk about Dark Law and Mass Change. Only reason that they're not in the deck is because I didn't want to lock myself into just heroes in the extra deck, so I didn't feel that there was a big need to use its hand effect, and the most important effect was being able to revive it so that you can go into a rank 7. Finally, I would like to go over Nash Knight, choosing to only play Ripper because the protection from hand traps is what we really need. Reality is that when we get to K9 format, Lupus has the ability to make whatever it summons unable to be targeted, and the Nash Knight could be a great response for that, though again, it takes up extra deck space because you need extra number monster in order to attach to it from the extra deck. Just something to keep in mind. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you so much for watching. It's Bones, signing out.